What is going on, everybody? It is Friday, May the 3rd, and that means it's time for my News Radar. And let's start off this episode of News Radar with one of the strangest news stories I have seen in a really long time. So just the other day, I brought you a news story wherein some anonymous individual was attempting to sell a Pixel 7 on eBay. Now, I could forgive you for thinking that I must have meant Pixel 6 because the Pixel 7 is not out yet. But no, I did in fact mean Pixel 7. Somehow this individual, one, had a prototype unit of the Pixel 7, and two, decided I'm going to sell this on eBay. Apparently, this person had also attempted to sell this thing, or maybe there's a bunch of people out there with Pixel 7 prototypes, but someone had also tried to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Well, this story continues to get stranger and stranger because if you remember from my video on this subject, I pointed out that it appeared that the person taking the photo of the Pixel 7 standard also must have had a Pixel 7 Pro because you could see in the reflection of the 7 what appeared to be a 7 Pro. And this lends a little bit of credence to my assumption because if we go here to 9to5 Google, we have a headline here. Someone used the Pixel 7 Pro for 3 weeks without realizing it. Evidently, this person on Reddit somehow managed to purchase a 7 Pro prototype on Facebook Marketplace. It was listed as a Pixel 6 Pro. They apparently used the thing for like a month before it, quote, started acting weird and going into the bootloader screen after saying it was factory resetting and wiping all of their data. So they bought this thing, used it for 3 weeks, and then maybe Google was like, hey, what are you doing? And then they like remotely wiped it or something, I guess. And in this Reddit thread, they did post a series of photos, which we do have here. And there you go. This is clearly a Pixel 7 Pro. It's quite funny to me that somebody bought this and thought, yeah, this is a Pixel 6. This looks right. And just rolled on without realizing that, like, hey, that's not a Google logo. Nothing to see here. Everything seems totally fine. But then he also does attach where it went into this fast boot mode, and you can see here product revision Cheetah, which is relevant to the 7 Pro. But unfortunately, yeah, this thing is rendered unusable now by Google, what appears to be remotely wiping it. There are a few interesting tidbits in here though. So this person asked, did you put a case on it? He said he actually bought a case from Amazon for $4, a clear case for the Pixel 6 Pro. And he said it fit perfectly, made the bezel that sticks out a bit more flush. Screen protector, he used a 6 Pro as well because it's virtually the same size screen and it fit perfectly. Even the fingerprint scanner portion matched up well. So physically speaking, pretty darn similar to the Pixel 7 Pro. All in all, another bizarre story. The Google leaks continue to really just one-up themselves. When you think Google's done doing insane leaks, having weird things happen to them, they just say, no, we are not done at all. And then they just crack that ball straight out of the stadium with another one. Fantastic. As for the next news story here, Windows 11 is getting a feature that I personally don't know why it has taken so long for Windows to receive. A feature that a lot of phones now have. If you switch from phone to phone, you sign into that new Android device, or probably the same on iPhones. How should I possibly know such a thing? You sign in and it says, hey, we see that you used to use this phone. Do you want us to copy your apps from that account, from that phone over and just go ahead and start downloading them for you? Now you hit yes, and then the phone just goes to work downloading all of your apps. If you switch computer to computer, similarly, that sort of thing does not happen. And there's reasons why that's not going to happen, right? Because a lot of the apps that you download are not from a store. They're just from the internet. So there's no real way for Windows to really do that. Well, with the new Windows 11 store being much more open to just whatever people want to put in there, they're kind of dropping the restrictions so that all sorts of applications that were never in the store before are now in the store, and hopefully more and more continue to arrive every day. That becomes a more and more viable feature to potentially have, and Microsoft is going to go ahead and do the dang thing. Windows 11 will soon let you restore apps to a new PC. Now, of course, again, this is only as useful as the number of apps or programs in the Microsoft Store will allow it to be. And that's why this push that Microsoft has to really open the door, open the floodgates to programs is becoming more and more important. Now, games and things like that you might have gotten through Game Pass, I imagine that's going to be included in this. That would be a big one if it is included. I don't really know for sure if that's a thing or not. They're part of the store, kind of, so you'd hope that'd be, something they wouldn't have as an oversight. But the more apps, the more programs are going to wind up in the Microsoft Store, the more that initial setup process is going to become easier and easier going forward. Have you checked out the new Microsoft Store if you're on Windows 11, or if you have access to that new store? Have you taken the time to check it out and take a look at it? Because there are a lot more programs in there. It's becoming much more useful. Currently, you set up a computer, and the first thing you do is you probably open up your web browser and search Google Chrome, because most people use Chrome. I actually stick with Edge. But you download your web browser, and then when you're in that web browser, then you're searching Steam, and then you're searching, Battle.net, and then you're searching all the programs you may go ahead and have to install right away. Well, if all of them were just in the store, it can just grab them for you. How much easier would that be when you're getting a new computer? Hopefully more and more apps are in the store very, very soon. And let's end things with several tweets by Ice Universe concerning the Samsung Galaxy Z, or maybe not Z, Fold 4. The first one shows a front image. We've talked about this several times, but this is a pretty good image to give you sort of a demonstration. The Fold 4 versus the Fold 3. And we're talking about the cover display. One of the biggest problems with the Fold is the super, super skinny, super, super tall display. This is the Fold 3. Looks just like the Fold 2. Doesn't look like the Fold 1. The Fold 1 is even, weirder and worse than this, with these giant bezel and giant chin. But at any rate, Fold 3, the Fold 4, you can clearly see here that this empty space here next to the hinge, you'd always look at that and wonder, like, why is that there? Just make that be screen too. Just move it over and make it be all screen. Well, that's pretty much what they've done here. They've slid it over, and now pretty much it's not quite all of it, is it? It's not as much. Most of it, though, is in fact now taken up by the screen. But there is more to this. Can I zoom into this? If you look here really closely, look at how much the hinge sticks out here, right? And then look at it compared to here. That is a feature of the new redesigned hinge, I'm assuming. Instead of being a double hinge, it is a single hinge. And apparently it is much, much thinner, much, much lighter, potentially more durable and cheaper to manufacture. Just better in every conceivable way. And you can see here, right? It's like more than the width of my magnifying glass. And then here it's a little less than the width of my magnifying glass. But then also that hinge just is not sticking out nearly as far. I think that's a pretty big improvement, not just in the screen, but also in the size of that hinge. If we look at another tweet, we have information about the under-display camera. The Samsung Z Fold 3 under-display camera, UPC, under-panel camera. You've seen it written UPC or under-display camera, UDC. Either way, a total of 172 pixels, and the Fold has more pixels, 400 minimum, covering that display, or covering the camera, I should say. So if you look here, that's what that hole punch camera looks like. And it looks like a nightmare to me because it flickers and shimmers, and I just hate looking at it. And I kind of hate looking at it now even. It's kind of unsettling to me, even in this moment. But you can see there what I'm talking about. You can see that pretty easily. Yeah, on darker backgrounds, it's not quite as bad. But on a lighter background, it is pretty noticeable still, because you can see each individual pixel covering the camera. Well, on the Fold 4, you're going to more than double the amount of pixels covering that camera. So hopefully that makes it far, far less visible. And hopefully for me, maybe that means that I'm going to be able to look at it and it not give me instant pain and nausea in my head region. That remains to be seen, though. We're going to have to wait to find out. Let's get off this tab so I can stop covering my screen with one hand, because that still does bother me. Last bit of information here. The Z Fold 4 will be the lightest folding phone this year. And he doesn't mean flipping, right? Because I guess we mean flipping and then we mean folding. So we're not talking about the flip. The lightest fold phone, 254 grams, 258 and 260, but reportedly says that is not accurate. Let's find out. What was the Fold 3? Z Fold 3, GSM Arena. Why would you ever go anywhere else? It's the greatest website in the history of the world, 271 grams. So we're down from 271 to 254. We're on a diet, you know, and is that new hinge, that single hinge, probably making up a big chunk of that weight. So several big improvements there. There's this narrative out there. The Fold 3 to Fold 4 is not going to be a very big upgrade. I would submit to you that I think it's a bigger upgrade than Fold 2 to Fold 3. From 2 to 3, what did we get? We got the under display selfie camera, which I think is a downgrade, and you got a pen. That's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. With Fold 4, we're going to get lighter. We're going to get more durable. I guess we got a more durable screen protector on the Fold 3 as well. You know, I'm going to miss some things because I'm going off the top of my head here. But with the Fold 4, we're going to improve that under display camera. Maybe it'll actually be worth having now. Maybe the picture quality could improve too. Haven't seen that. It's going to get lighter. The hinge is going to be improved. Some durability improvements. I'm going to be really curious to see what they're doing with the the ultra thin glass, the UTG acronyms. But the cameras are also getting massively improved. A 50 megapixel primary, a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto instead of a 2x, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. The Fold 4, I think, is a bigger improvement than the 2 was to the 3. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with that or disagree with that, which one you think was the bigger upgrade. Granted, they're not even, neither one of them are just earth-shattering, but the Fold 4 is also getting a bit wider, which is a thing that I definitely want. That cover display getting a bit wider, that's a good thing. Talk about it in the comments down below. Guys, thanks for watching. Extra massive, huge, big thanks to my YouTube members, which are scrolling across the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel directly. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the way out. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.